Hi, I'm Carmen. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Germany. And today I'm going to tell you about my dad. Briefly, I came to Thailand for the first time 1.5 years ago and have been studying with Pra Ajahn Surapong ever since. Now, from the very beginning, when he taught me about the bad instinct inside people's minds, the first person that came to my mind was my father, who had been depressed at that time for around 10 years already. And I, from the beginning, would wanted to really, really share what I learned with my father. And around 3/4 of a year later, I got the chance, and Long Pi Jimmy at the time and I taught my father every day a little bit for a month. Now, the first thing is that, of course, for my father, he started from a place. He started from a net negative, meaning that he had a lot of pollution, and he had been with the bad system for quite a while. So what had happened in the past was basically that there were different topics that the bad instinct was using to bring about bad energy pollution to him, and that was, for example, his childhood or the climate crisis or other topics. And the way that it would work would be that the bad instinct would come with voices and then talk about these things with pressure and negative emotions, and my father would get lost in it, like you get lost in a stream of water that's going down like this, like a tornado, downward spiraling. And by the time that he came to study with us, he already had a lot of difficulties. His biggest challenge was to actually get out of the house, so to leave the house and then eventually get into situations that he couldn't foresee before. And he got very lonely because he lives alone. So when we taught him, we didn't even tell him yet to meditate, because we knew that he was facing a lot of pollution, and when he closed his eyes there was just chaos and confusion. So we didn't tell him that in the beginning. We just started to teach him the basics of mindfulness, so to learn how to just enjoy and bring the mind back to yourself while you're sitting on the beach, while you're drinking a refreshing drink, while you're eating good food. Just bring your mind back and start to enjoy, start to point out all the good things to your mind. And then over the time that he was with us, I think around 2 weeks in, he came to us really, really proud and told us that he had meditated for the first time for 20 minutes. I think 20 minutes, and he was very proud. And we didn't tell him to do it, we didn't push him, he did it by himself, and it came as a natural progression of studying mindfulness first. And ever since then he's been meditating every day, and he started with, I think, just around 15 minutes every day, and now already over 200 days later, he has meditated every single day, and he has reached a streak where he meditates every day for 1.5 hours. So that is 1 hour in the morning and half an hour before he goes to bed. And that one, he, by keeping up that practice continuously, he was able to have many small victories. He was able to deal with these thoughts that I described in the beginning, the bad instinct coming in, better, because he was able to not accept and just know. One thing that he used was, for example, that he felt this really, really strong sadness inside the middle of his stomach, and then like a narrative maybe about his childhood to that, and he stopped listening to the narrative and just knowing there is sadness and using sadness as his object, which helped him. And other relatives of mine also reported back to me that they feel that my father is more positive about life, which is a big a big thing to say, and that what he did was he started to stop watching the news every day and scrolling through the news. He calls it his news detox, and he started to stop inputting a lot of things into his mind on the street, where he used to have a very short temper and just like if someone does something and it cuts him off, like shout back or something like that. He is now able to stay calm and to not go along with it immediately. Like there are a lot of small accomplishments that he's made for himself, but you can see that on the end it still takes a lot of every day reminding himself that he's on the right way, on the right path, that he's running the right system, but that it takes time. And for him it really does take time, because there's a lot of pollution to be cleaned out. So he still he says that he can now get out of the house better, but it is still a struggle. So he still sees his goal up ahead, where he can act from a place where he feels light and not heavy, basically where he's not depressed anymore. And he knows that he's not there yet. So sometimes when the bad comes in, it can use that fact that the journey is a long one. And he has to remind himself again and again that he's on the right way, on the right path, that he's doing the right thing. And so he has to do it every day, has to get up and do it every day, and he's been doing that. Yes. And overall, I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful that I got to study this, and that my father also got to study this. He will, by the way, come back in November to Thailand for a month to study more, and also meet Pra-Ajahn and learn from him directly, which I'm very excited about. Yes, and overall, yeah, I'm very happy. And thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your retreat. So